What up, people? It's Nickopz here, and today I want to talk about Sub Zero. I personally feel like I haven't made a video like this in a while where I talk about, you know, the truth about a character, and I feel like it's time because Sub Zero, people feel a certain way about this character, and it kind of reminds me of the MK11 days, to where when that game first came out, people did not think Sub Zero was that at all. They thought he was terrible, like not usable. And funny thing is, I made this same type of video on him in MK11, and people just ended up being wrong about the character. Sub Zero ended up being one of the most used characters in the game. He was top tier for a good while. I can't speak on the end of the game's life cycle because I stopped playing, but for the longest, he was really, really good, and people were just wrong. And his the main argument was, oh, it's 50-50s are unreactable, this, that, and the other. But he didn't even though the 50-50s helped, he had good tools besides that to play the game like normally. Even though the 50-50s sent him up, he could still play the game just fine by playing normally. But either way, people were wrong about him, and I thought we were going to get the same thing in this game, where people were just wrong about him and they didn't know what they were talking about. We just needed to wait a bit. I thought that was going to be the case. So I waited, and I waited for a good while until I made an opinion about this character. When it first came out, when the game first came out, I'm like, I think people might be downplaying the game like they were in MK11. But then I quickly realized, no, that was not the case. He is actually as bad as people say he is. And then my mind changed one more time to where, okay, I'm like, he's bad, but he kind of reminds me of Ryu in Street Fighter 5. So I don't want y'all to think in Street Fighter 6. I don't want y'all to think this video is going to be like my MK11 video where, I'm just like, yeah, people are not right about the character. He is actually good. I actually do think this character is still a bottom 5 character. I made a video talking about him. I'm not going to sit up here and just say the character is, great or amazing, because he's simply not. He's just actually not. But I do think he can be saved like very easily. It doesn't take much to make a character good, and I do feel like there are some assists that help him out. There's no assists that help him out completely because he has too many problems to be helped out completely. But like I was comparing him to, he reminds me of Ryu from Street Fighter 6. Now Ryu also in that game is a debatable bottom 5 character, but I do still think Ryu is like decent. Like I think Sub-Zero in this game. I don't think like I think Sub-Zero is in this game. I don't think he's, you know, good or great or amazing. I think he's just decent. That's why on my most recent tier list, I put him at the end of A tier, but he's still bottom 5. You can be decent and bottom 5 if the game is relatively, balanced in a way. So let's talk about, where should we start with this character? I think we should start with his problems. His main problems are there. First of all, this is a cameo game. So this game is based off of assist. There is no assist that fixes all of Sub-Zero's problems. Let's talk about his problem. His problems are, he has really no way to get like rewarded off the way he plays. And the way he plays and the way he's meant to be played, before we get into the problems actually, he's always been a 50-50 character. Across the past 3 games, that's what he has been. He is meant to get in your face and 50-50 you. He is meant to have like buttons around here to like challenge you from this range and oppress you a bit from this range. And if he guesses right, he gets like damage, but he's always had like rigid buttons that, you can easily take your turn back if you block like around this range. And he's always had like the slide, of course, to like counter people zoning. And he's always had, the clone in some type of way. And to sum it up again, he is meant to be right here, hit you like 50-50s, condition you around this range, and he has mobility, like every range he is meant to have something to threaten you, at least something. So it's always been like right here the 50-50s, right here like the solid buttons that he can like play neutral with, and then here he has like the slide or something if you try to zone him, and then he's always had like ice ball to trade with you like if you tried to zone him too. Now that's the way he's meant to be played, but even in this game they tried to alter it a bit. Now his problems in this game to me are, first of all, he doesn't his damage. That's the first main problem. His damage is not good. Now Serena helps fix that problem, but even though she helps fixes it, she doesn't like give him much of anything else. Like, yes, she gives him like a safe low or safe-ish low. Like all the stuff she gives him, like she gives him the best stuff. Sabrina is definitely his best assist in my opinion because it helps him out the most. But she doesn't help him out enough to make him a legitimate threat. She just puts a band-aid on his problems. Now, she helps him completely out with the damage. Like, she helps him get damage off of, like, a couple of things. But it's still not, like, consistent and good enough to completely help him out. Because, you know, yes, the damage is good, but he still has the other problems. So, we got that out of the way. The damage is not good, even though Serena can help him a bit. Now, let's get into what he is meant to do. The first thing he's meant to do, like the 50-50s. The overhead is fine. Like, you know, I know people think it's like too slow, but it's okay because he has a double low and a high low, which will break people's fuzzy guard if they're trying too hard to react. So the overhead being that slow is okay. It's not a problem with it. The problem is the low and the high low aren't all that. Like, another thing, he needs an assist, like something like Goro or like Sonya or something to combo off of it. But then if he does that, he loses the damage. If y'all see where I'm going with here. Like, he can put on an assist to fix this problem, but then he still has this problem. So that's what I'm actually starting to realize this as I'm talking now. Maybe that might be like how you can tell like tiers in this game. Like if an assist helps them with this, but then they lose this and that, that means they have like more problems than they could be helped with. And that's what I like mainly feel about Sub-Zero. Like he can put this assist on, but then he has this problem. He can do this, then he has this problem. There's no assist that completely legitimately makes him a threat. This move right here, I feel like both of these should be special cancelable. I don't think he should have to, like, if his main thing is to go in and hit you with like a 50-50, like there he should have something he could just be able to throw out. He doesn't have anything he could just throw out without having to like mega give up his turn. Like I shouldn't go in and then just do this low and then that's it. Like there should be some mind games off this. This should definitely be special cancelable in my opinion. Like the high low, that might, you know, it could end up being too strong. It's -7. Like, oh my gosh. No. The frames on these moves are just not good. And the only way he can, you know, help himself out is if he just does the low instantly into a move. So for his overhead and low to be somewhat safe, he has to like commit to an assist call, and that's just not good enough. Like the overhead being unsafe is fine as long as he could just like throw out a low, but he can't because he throws out this low, he has to give up his turn back heavily, and there's like no mind game to it, and you don't even get rewarded if it hits unless you have an assist. Like I think that would be one of the first things they could do to help him out is making that special cancelable. That's the main thing in my personal opinion. You know, some people might, you know, think he need to be buffed in other departments right away, but I think this low should be stronger. Even if they completely change the move, I think it should be more like his MK11 low where it's a good check. So yeah, I'm gonna hit you with this low all day. So when this overhead comes, like you better be ready. If you're not, you're gonna get hurt. But the low is just not like that. Like, cause you can't throw this out. If it was -1, then maybe, but it's -5. So it's like one of his problems. He's too committable. Everything is so committable for not that much of a reward. Besides this broken move right here, which we will talk about like later. So then that's the main thing. like I want to make something very clear. This is the main buff I think he needs. This being special cancel. So let's get into another problem he has. And this kind of goes back to the damage too. He has no meterless confirm. Like him confirming into damage without meter is like he can. It's something like that. He can of course use an assist, but if he doesn't have it, he doesn't really have anything. And Sub-Zero has had that across the past 2 games. So why did they take it away from him in this game? Like I don't get it. He was always able to have at least a string where he could just do and then hit you with a ice ball. Like if they kept it the same, it would probably be that string. Keep that so he can confirm and then use his meter for something else. Like if he wanted to go for an unsafe 50-50 and break. But that's completely just gone from him now too. So they took his damage is lower. He has no meterless confirms. His 50-50s aren't that scary because he has to give back up his turn a lot. And then like the ice clone too. The ice clone isn't as strong, but it's still an ice clone. It's still annoying. He can still do it and hide behind assist and everything. So it is okay, but it lasting like 1 second longer wouldn't be a problem. That's what a lot of Sub-Zeros want, and I have no problem with them getting that. But like 1 second, oh y'all get like we don't need like ice clone lasting forever again. We just don't. I think their idea of making it shorter, like now if he spends meter, like that's another. The meter burn version of ice clone is just weird. Like the meter should give him like this ice clone and it just lasts longer. I think that would be fine. Or just make it to where, yeah, if he wants to do it right there, he spins a bar, he can get setups in the corner and it lasts longer and takes like a hit of armor. I think it'd be fine if they did that. But we don't need an ice clone that lasts forever again and like in 10. No, we just don't need that. That crap is just no. But yeah, like I was saying about this character, he just has too many flaws in too many areas, and it's like they didn't like think him through. Now, he does have one really good thing. This dive kick is broken. It is actually freaking broken. Like, why is it only like -7 or -8? It was -5 right there, -4 right there. If you hit him at like the very tip right there, yeah, like -3. Like, why does he have a safe dive kick? Now, if he does it right there, of course it's unsafe. But you're not going to be ready for it all the time because it's safe like 80% of the time. Like, I don't know why they gave him a safe dive kick. Like, he's always had like an air type move, but this dive kick is actually broken. Like, if you disagree, that's fine, but I think it's dumb because he can like poke you or something and then jump back, wait for a poke, get a full combo punish, and then you're so scared of this, he gets free jump in sometimes. He actually has like a better dive kick than Lau, actually, to me. Like, well, not better than Lau's meter burn dive kick, but just his base dive kick, if it hits, he gets like a full combo for some reason. Like, I don't get it. But yeah, that's the one thing I'll say that's really, really good about him. That dive kick. This dive kick, like, helps him out so much in the mobility department, the damage department, because he gets good meterless damage off of it. And that's the one thing I'll say about him is really good. Like, everything else is just lackluster, and he needs help. So, to recap, again, to go over the very few pros he does have, again, it's the dive kick and the fact that he does at least have the 50-50s, like somewhat, but they're still not good. So honestly, I can only say his big heavy strength is that dive kick and still being able to use clone with assist somewhat, and you know, having at least a little mobility. That's his very few pros. Like I said, he's bottom 5, so there's not much. Now the cons, like I said, he doesn't have good damage. He's not that scary up close. The ice ball's not good. The clone is not that good. No meterless damage confirms. Like it's just not. There's nothing really good about this character. So the truth about Sub-Zero is he is what people think he is. Not that good. He is just simply not all that. But I don't think he is as bad as Scorpion, like, at all. I think he's of course down there with them, but Scorpion has way more problems, which I talked about in the video. This character at least has the tools to fight you. They're just not great tools. And to go over what it would take to buff this character, I feel like, again, the low should be special cancelable. The ice ball should be faster. I feel like he should get some meterless confirms off of the ice ball, especially if it was like this string right here. It was meant to be this string right here, like where he can get confirms off of it and all of that, but that it was meant to be that string to be like his confirm, but it's like he has to spin bar to get something decent. So I mean, yeah, they could give it back to that too if they want to make that his meterless confirm move. Like he shouldn't have to spin bar. If he wants to do something like risky like that, he shouldn't have to spin bar, in my opinion. And I also think this move should be +2, just to give him like some plus frames he can throw around. And you know, some people are just going to naturally get hit by this. It is a high-low, so, and it can give him a 50-50, a reason to use this move, a 50-50 with assist. So those are all the changes I think he needs. I feel like this character needs help. I understand you Sub-Zero players out there struggling with him. I feel for y'all, but I do think, unlike Scorpion, who I think is the new worst, he at least has the tools to be able to fight you. They're just not great. I hope y'all enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And Nickopz up.